Hello, everyone. Welcome to this LinkedIn Live call. My name is Ilya Hadi. I specialize in building AI systems to help business owners be more productive. This is season 1, episode 9 of my podcast series. I'd like to introduce my awesome guest, Celeste, who focuses on AI and personal branding. This call will be discussing her journey as well as lots of tips on AI and personal branding. And so handing it over to Celeste. Could you provide a quick introduction of yourself, Celeste? Oh,
Awesome.
hi.
I'm
I apologize. I don't know what you caught, but can you just provide a quick introduction of yourself, Celeste?
sure. So, first of all, awesome to be here. I've seen your journey and I like to grow with people because we are all in this together. So, quick story about me. I started as a video editor and I worked in corporate, I worked with agencies, and then I transitioned to working with different influencers because I always had this dream of having a content business. I mean, I just love this creative journey. And then, of course, AI came, and I started looking at how I could improve these workflows from corporate and from these big influencers to apply it to grow my own stuff, but with AI. And then, of course, just keep teaching other people to know how to do it or the things that I was discovering. And that's just basically how I arrived here and how I arrived to start building my own business thanks to that.
Awesome. And then in terms of, was there any like specific like mentors or other creators or other people you really looked up to? It doesn't have to be on LinkedIn, but to help inspire you, help guide you in your journey.
I would say a lot of them. Like the whole reason I love the content is because I found a lot of people that inspired me. And well, I don't know about you, but I'm just from Mexico, and I've noticed that here the mindset is really like short, or at least the place where I am, I don't have a lot of access to people with a big mindset. So I just needed to look into the internet to find this just a place to be out of my comfort zone and a place to help me grow. And that was a place where I found like, oh, a YouTube video that was just like 10 minutes, but it was so powerful and like cinematic and inspiring. And I just wanted to go for that. Or I would say that most of us find mentors on our journey. At least mine were mostly on YouTube.
Oh, okay, cool. So I know you post on YouTube. Like, what is some of your top YouTube channels that are more like educational than maybe fun? Like, what do you
Education.
usually look at on YouTube?
Well, on YouTube, I would say people like Sam Calder. I don't know if someone can relate to that, but it's a good filmmaker from Canada, and the way that he just tells the stories through filmmaking just made me fall in love into that world with video, but not for corporate, more for YouTube. I couldn't thought it was possible. I would say creators that make things look cinematic. And also, I would say Vanessa Lau. It's a huge, I would say, inspiration of mine because she created this whole content business without having a lot of followers on on YouTube. And you would normally say, oh, you need to have a lot of followers to be able to build a business. But when you're able to provide trust and other people also trust you, then it's like you don't need a lot of followers to make the money. So yeah. I would say mostly the both of them.
Sorry, who was the last person? I didn't catch a name.
She's Vanessa Lau. I don't think a lot of people know her, but she's pretty well known on the YouTube space.
Oh, you said Vanessa Lau, Lau.
Yes.
Oh, I've actually ran across her a little bit too. Yeah, like I think she took like a little bit of a break and then she
Yeah.
joined, rejoined. So interesting. Great. So then, so starting with the basics, like how would you define what a personal brand is, and then what is AI to you?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, personal branding, it's mainly being able to provide, for me, being able to provide value to other people and that they trust you back. Because when I started creating content, I felt like a personal brand was to have a big amount of followers and then being admired by them. So I started with this mindset, posting on Instagram. I hope no one goes to my Instagram. But yeah, I mean, I just started with this mindset, like, oh, I want to be famous, something like that, or oh, I want to post pretty stuff or pretty pictures, and I want to just post with a low value intention, because I think that's what most of us see, like with being influencers that are just like putting their pretty faces and then it all works. But even them, they have a back-end strategy from that. But a personal brand is just realized or having this journey of knowing how to provide value for others and finding the way that they trust you back. I would say that's branding for me.
I see.
And yeah.
And then for what is AI to you? How would you define AI?
Definition, it's hard. But I would
It's your definition. Make it your definition.
yeah. Well, I can't give a definition like from the dictionary, but at least for me, it's just I wouldn't like to say a shortcut, but it's just a way to work smarter.
Mhm.
I always think that when you take 10 steps or your competitors take 10 steps, you can be taking 20 just with one thing that you do with AI. And I think that a lot of people look at AI like automation, but I don't think it's like that. I think that if you create that automation and yeah, you're able to reach to point A to point B in 10 seconds, now why do you take you should be taking that time to now reach the point C in less amount of time. So while others are stuck in point B, you're just making things better. It's not like I just reach from A to B and I will live there forever. It's that it just
Mhm.
helps to make things better. And I think that a lot of people don't understand that because they just leave with the automation and then, yeah, I did it in 10 minutes and now I'm done. You will be ahead of everyone else. I think that's AI.
Yeah, yeah, that totally makes sense. Like, can't use AI totally all itself, right? But if you use, human plus AI, it is in some cases, sometimes even a lot of cases for productivity, for whatever the case, personal branding, it can help a lot with doing things faster and better, usually. Interesting. And then in terms of, so coming to your work, who is your like ideal client and your offer? And then we can step through some of those parts.
Sure. So my ideal client are people, well, business owners or solopreneurs, people who want to get leads or that attention through LinkedIn because I help them grow their personal brand in a way that other people can trust, in a way that it's not only views, but it's also trust. So that's my ideal client. And I mainly help them to build a brand, as I said, but with AI in a way that, I mean, I'm sure that you have noticed this, that when you go to LinkedIn, you need to learn about copywriting, you need to learn about content psychology, content strategy, how to write in a good way, copywriting. There's a lot of things that you need to learn. And with AI, it's just like easier because the way that we've been training our models or specific GPTs, they are just with all of this knowledge, so you can just create things in a faster way. I would say that's my whole journey on the business.
I see. And then in terms of like what are you providing right now for your offers?
Well, yeah, of course. This is 101 coaching. Like I have my program. This is a brand-wise program, and it's 101 coaching for a period of time of 3 months if you turn to be the right fit. Because we don't work with everyone. I mean,
Mhm.
I think I don't want everyone to invest in something that they are not going to work with. Right? I
Right.
think that most people just came to me and they're like, "Oh, AI, so I'm just going to automate my whole personal brand." But yeah, that's it.
Awesome. And then do you do you work for yourself, or do you have a team, like like with to delegate tasks to? Like, what does it look like for your business?
Yeah, well, I'm working mainly for myself, and the coaching it's 101 with my clients. So of course, with the content and the part of the coaching, it feels like all it's part of myself. But I have in the back end like designers and video editors that are helping me with this, and also supportive copywriters, like professional copywriters. I'm more in the back end of cinematography and video editing, so I also need help from copywriting. I would say that's it.
Awesome, awesome. And then, so coming back to LinkedIn users, like what is like related to your work is what is like a common pain point you see from LinkedIn users? I know you mentioned like if they're coming to you for coaching, they want everything, but like before that, like what is something that it can be just one pain point that people have with personal branding and using AI. Um, could you just elaborate a little bit? Maybe it's the content part, maybe it's the ICP. So like what is something you see often, or a common question you get like when people reach out to you in your posts or your or DMs?
So from the part of AI, I would say that most of them love the tool and they recognize the value of that. That's why they are reaching out to me. And I would say that mainly the common problem is that they just know how to create content with a prompt, with one single prompt. But in reality, what we are working with, what my team and I are working with, is to build these GPTs, and they are trained with months of data, with the voice of tone of professional copywriters. Like we gather all the best of the best from just the top, and then we use it. So it's not like we are creating content or we're using AI to create content from one single prompt, but we are basically training one GPT with all of this knowledge from just the best of the best. And I would say that the common problem is that people think that they can create content with one prompt, but that's not something that's going to happen, right? You need to be able to take your time of training that, and at least from the systems that we have, it's like 3 months of training one single GPT, or even more. So I don't think that a lot of people have that time and dedication to build a system that works. And I think that's a problem. They just think that, oh, 10 minutes, one prompt, content, that's it. No, of course you're going to have trash if you do it that way. And from the part of the branding, the most common problem I've seen is that they just follow the advice of post consistently and don't quit. If you don't quit and post consistently, you're going to win. I'm like, no, that's total trash. It doesn't work. Because I've seen people that, like, when I started my journey, I started with other people, right? I just wanted to connect with everyone. I was like, hey, I'm also starting here. I'm new on LinkedIn. I built my network, and I saw some people that I started, like, we were in the same with the same numbers, right? But then they were pretty consistent, posting every single day, and I was like, oh my god, I wish I was like them. Like, they have a lot of consistency, they just have a lot of commitment, and I was here trying to give my all, then quitting the next week, then trying to post a lot, then quitting the next week, and I just felt so ashamed for that. But there was a moment when I stopped, like, just, okay, I know that that I can't be posting every single day, so let's just start thinking of the best way of building a strategy. And then I grow, and when I look back of the people that I started, I was just like 10 times bigger than they were. And I think that's the problem, because I've seen people that work like 5 years, or they're just one thing here, one post there, they never grow. Or they are trying to be consistent for 1 year, but they don't even know their niche. They don't even know the pain points of their audience. They're just posting like if it was a blog and not to offer value. And then that's when things just break and never work. I would say that's a problem in both cases.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. And we're about halfway through, so thanks for the people who commented and joined. If anybody does have a comment or question, please do ask us. Celeste is here to answer these questions. And yeah, and so with that, okay, so okay, so to make sure we're answering the question, like that was in in the title is how do you, or in the description. So how do you recommend people to stand out on LinkedIn? against the noise, like posting consistently, this generic type of content
Yeah.
or advice. What are your thoughts on how to stand out on LinkedIn, whether it's against other competitors, against yourself, even, like your struggle? What are your thoughts there?
Sure. Of course, the first step is AI, but I think that's obvious because this podcast, this event is all about it. But if you use AI, you can create things faster and then you can actually improve from there. So I've seen that a lot of my clients usually just get burned out really fast. But when they use AI, they just take that time and create something better. So that's a way to stand out because on LinkedIn, I don't know if you have noticed this, but if you go to Instagram, you can see a huge quality there. If you go to YouTube, you can see people with a lot of followers. Like your journey here on LinkedIn, if you have like 100,000 followers, that's huge. On YouTube, if you have a million, that's huge. Like there's a huge difference between platforms, and because LinkedIn is just growing up, there's not a lot of, I would say, quality. So if you take AI to improve the quality of what you're doing, or just improving the quality yourself, it'll be way bigger because the competence here is not huge. And also, I would say it's also video because, well, just to be fully honest with you guys that are looking at this, I've noticed that if I post images plus an image plus text, it's more like engagement. I'm talking like one-on-one to the audience I already have. It doesn't help me to grow a lot. If I post carousels, those carousels help me to grow more. I can get like 100 new followers from that. And I know people can get more, but just like average. And if I post video, that doesn't help me to grow either. But when I get clients, they just tell me, "Oh, I love your videos. Oh, I'm here thanks to a video that I saw about you. Oh, I think your brand is unique because you're just explaining things in a video, and that just makes more sense." So it's that way of knowing how to use the different formats. So I would say at least that's what works for me, and I've been using AI to analyze this. But yeah, just videos work a lot to build trust, and for me, at least, it's kind of a decision point for my clients to know, oh, I want to work with you thanks to a video that I saw, then carousels to grow, and then image plus text to build like rapport with the audience I already have. But that depends on your skills. I'm not a copywriter, and that's why I do better on video. But people that are copywriters might do better on text that they do on video. So it's just choosing your right format too.
That makes sense. Interesting. Yeah, I am seeing a little bit more videos, like in terms of other creators, but still, I think it's not that many people doing videos. Generally, people are still just doing a lot of written and carousel content. And so thanks for the question, Sanjit. So Sanjit, related to the video question is, so do you use or what are your thoughts on that shorts feature on LinkedIn? I actually don't really know how to use it. Do you just create a video and then it creates a short or anyway, or I don't really know how that works?
That's a really good question. And I say that I don't know how it works because I don't have the feature. It's not available in Mexico. It's still not available here. So what I've been doing is just posting these videos in a vertical mode, because if you are in the feature and then you just scroll and scroll and scroll, you will be able to see the rest of the videos. But I think that's still not pretty strong as other people like to preach. And the reason for this is that a lot of people don't have the feature yet. And what that means is that even if you can get extra views as a beginner, you don't have a lot of extra views or a lot of new, I would say not a lot of results if you already have like this content strategy, because people mostly scroll on the main platform.
Oh yeah.
And on the videos on the main platform, if you notice, the sound is not activated yet. So you need to scroll, and if you find a video that you like, you need to stop. Then you need to think if you're going to activate a sound. And if you have your headphones on, then it'd be like, okay, I'm gonna listen to this, or nah, I'm just a video, I can't hear it right now. So I would say that's something that there's a lot of friction, because if you go to TikTok, that's whole video. You know that you need to have your audio, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you go to YouTube, of course, it's all about video. You know you need to have your audio. If you go to LinkedIn, you know that's text and some audio. So it's optional to have your headphones on, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I would say it's a big thing, but it's not as big as I think it could be yet.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So, so if people were to do video on LinkedIn, so I'm just starting to do it. I don't have like a back end team. Like I'm just doing this like, as a side hustle. And what are your recommendations? Like, should we be using more AI tools if we are not hiring a video editor, or not great at editing yourself, or just kind of see how it goes, iterate, because to get better at anything, you need to do enough
Yeah.
repetitions, right?
Mm.
But I guess, like, what would you say for people who don't really know much about video creation? How would they start with using AI for their content?
Sure. Well, first of all, is realizing that you don't need a lot of equipment to start. I was basically having like thousands of views. I would say 3,000 views consistently on videos that I saw just by recording them with the webcam of my computer and just putting something in the screen so people could see it. So I don't think you need any type of equipment to be able to make that. Also, just be in front or be next to a light source and then just record. And for the rest of things, you can use AI. One software that I usually use is Descript. And I think that's awesome for people who don't know how to edit. And if you go to my LinkedIn profile and if you scroll through my videos, you will see that I have these animated subtitles. So I do these animated subtitles that are just animated one word by one with AI. And then that script also has a feature to improve the quality of your audio. So you can be even recording with the audio of your computer, you can be recording with the audio of your phone, and then you can use that AI feature to improve it. And it will sound like you have a professional microphone. Also,
Oh,
with these quick subtitles that it generates, at least from my experience, the subtitles that I've seen on Descript are way more accurate than what they could be in a professional video editing tool like Premiere Pro, that they also have this option to generate subtitles, or in another free tool like CapCut, that is pretty famous for having automated subtitles too. So when I was starting creating my own videos, I was like editing on Premiere Pro, and it was like, oh my god, a lot of manual work from the subtitles. I spent like a lot of time. And even if I tried on CapCut yet, it was a lot of manual work yet still. But with Visual Descript, I've noticed that is one of the most accurate in the market. So I would say that's one way to do it fast. And yeah, it's mainly that. And of course, if you're just starting, or if you're saying, oh, I wish I could start someday to create videos, I would say that the perfect moment it's now, without being clickbaity or without sounding cringy. Because if you start now, of course you need practice. And when I
yeah.
started, I think I had like 1,000 followers or something like that. It was like, if I get a mistake or if I sound really bad in camera, that I was sounding really bad in camera, it was like not a lot of people will see me fail.
Yeah.
Like, I have 1,000. My videos are gonna get like 200 views. I don't care. like, like, let's just practice. And if I just go to those videos, it's like, oh, I don't even want to watch them. And even the first videos that I posted on YouTube, like I just hid them. No one can see those videos because I was really bad. But it all comes down to starting when you can, because I think there's not a lot of pressure at that point. Because then you will, of course, keep growing and growing, and then you feel the pressure of, oh my God, but now I have all of this huge audience, and what if they see me sounding really bad? Or I think it becomes a bigger monster at that moment.
Yeah, I totally echo that. I'm going through that exactly myself. I'm trying not to make it cringy, but sometimes after the fact it can be. So just putting it out there, trying it, iterating. I think that is definitely some of the best advice. So for a beginner, like say they want to be, they want to be a content creator on LinkedIn, and they don't know anything about personal branding. They don't know anything about AI. What would you say is like the first step? Should they go into like something like ChatGPT and just play around with it, query like what is personal branding? How do you post on LinkedIn? Like what would you say is like the very first step to start learning about it? And then I'll and then I can ask some following questions.
Sure. So the first start, I would say, is not even to create content or it's not even to start doing something yourself, is to do market research.
Mm.
Because this will help you to have a huge perspective. And I've seen even SaaS companies making this mistake. SaaS companies that create content for LinkedIn or create products for LinkedIn making this mistake, and then their products are not usable
Mm.
because they didn't
Mm.
do market research. So first step, you need to go to the platform, of course, and then find big people on the platform. One way to do this is to go to Fabicon. If you Fabicon, if you don't know, it's a website that categorizes the biggest creators on each platform. And for LinkedIn, because LinkedIn doesn't have this golden play button like YouTube has, you can show us people that you're a big creator on the platform. But if you go to Fabicon and if you're in the list, that's your sign of credibility. So you can find people that, like, you can find the top profiles in this website, and then you can start just creating your own list and taking a look at their post, like usually or daily, and you will start seeing how quality content looks like, or the way that they are creating the content, how consistent they are, how they are using their strategies, how they are growing their newsletter, how they are I don't know, expressing their ideas. Big creators usually use this language like gurus have been lying to you. This is the real way of doing things. They have a
Mm.
lot of controversial beliefs. And one of the most common things that they have is that they like to make someone feel mad with their content because they have controversial beliefs.
Yeah.
And you're only able to notice this when you are exposed to that environment.
Mm.
Because if you just post by yourself, you will have no clue of how people are liking, of what people are liking in the platform. So I would say that's the first step. Just create your engagement list from these big people. Then just start knowing what you can create yourself, understanding your value, and then just having that as a reference. I would say that.
That's great. Yeah, I think that's super important before you even put all this effort in terms of creating your brand using AI is to figure out what you're doing, like what other people are doing, and learn from them first because they were many steps ahead of you. And so we don't have that much time, so I'll just be asking some questions quickly, just to answer them not too long. So Sahil asked a question here: does LinkedIn tag AI generated content reduce its reach? Any thoughts there?
Tag. What do you mean by tag?
Well, I mean, my guess of the question is like the algorithm. Who knows how the LinkedIn algorithm works? It looks at this AI generated content and reduces it because they have some AI detectors. That's my guess. Uh,
Hmm.
I
Well,
don't know how that works, but I would
yeah,
guess
they might have AI detectors, but what I've seen, even with the content that I produce with my GPTs, is that they don't even show us AI generated content.
exactly.
So if you just spend 10 minutes in a prompt and then you generate a content from that, it will show us AI generated. And you don't even need to worry about the algorithm. You need to worry about your reputation because
Yeah.
what is, I mean, even if the algorithm just shows you to 1,000 people, you will just hurt your reputation really, really bad because people will you think that others don't notice. But when you have time in the platform or when you have time in content, you notice when something is not there or when the quality is not there, and you are really able to notice when someone just has a really good voice of tone, when someone just feels like really close to you, even if they are just writing. So depends on how good are you with using AI, I would say.
Sounds good. And then, so just two more quick questions. So, what is like one takeaway you want if anybody does watch it, anybody is watching this video after the fact? What is something that you want people to remember in terms of personal branding and AI?
Sure. I would say, first of all, you don't need to start with AI. You need to start with branding because you need to get the skills and understand the quality and the standards to know how to replicate that with AI. And that's going back to the mistake that I've seen with SaaS companies. They start with AI and then they go to branding, and they think that because they can generate some type of decent content with a platform, they will do it great in the platform. But if you haven't grown this yet, I mean, one example of this is Ruben Hassett. If you're on LinkedIn and if you're on AI, you will know him because he's one of the biggest profiles in the industry. And Ruben started growing his personal brand and just started with zero, you know? And then he actually created this SaaS company. So when you go to his product, it's actually usable. Like you will use that because he knows how to get from point A to point B. But from other SaaS companies that I've seen, they haven't grown any personal brand yet. So they don't know what it takes. They don't know the standards of quality. They don't know what's the format. They don't know the copywriting frameworks. They just think it's just text, and that's not it, right? So if you start with AI, you could have the wrong mindset. But if you start with branding and then you take these other profiles as a reference, you will know what things you need to be able to make with AI to match the things perfectly, and don't make like mistakes that most people do.
Awesome. I love that. And then just one last question is, where's the best place for people to find you? Is it, I'm guessing it's LinkedIn, but maybe YouTube, but anything you want to relay to the audience?
Sure. I mean, it's LinkedIn, and there you have different stuff. I mean, on my LinkedIn, you can find my YouTube channel if you want more extended tutorials, because on LinkedIn, I just give things real quick, short, and actionable. But on YouTube, we expand more on each topic to go pretty deep on each one. And also, like on LinkedIn, you can find more things like a resource. I have a resource that helps you to build a powerful profile with AI. So you can also get that on my LinkedIn profile.
Wonderful. And to wrap up, thank you very much, Celeste, and thank you all who joined and may watch in the future on LinkedIn. This is also on YouTube. And so with that, until next time, thank you and take care. Goodbye.
Sure. Bye-bye.